Maleficent Body Art Tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish. I'm going to begin by painting the shape of Maleficent's face, and I'm just going to be doing this with white paint, and the reason I'm using white instead of green like you would normally see is because I do not have a light pastel green, and so I'm going to be using white, and then I'll go over it with green, which will lighten the green and make it look of the right color. And plus, white's a little bit easier to fix if you make a mistake, so there's another bonus. So just go and sketch out her face, and I would definitely suggest looking at a picture of her while you're doing this. And so yeah, so start by painting the two triangles for her hairline, or horn line, I don't know what you want to call it, and then work your way down. And so once you got that about where you think it should be, I'm just going to go and sketch in her horn. So I'm going to start with that line that's kind of like her part, and then sketch in each side. And the beauty is, if you do make a mistake like I did, I just wet my brush and then go over the lines I want to erase, and then I'll just wipe them off with my finger and they're gone. Okay, so now I'm going to work on the other side. And the ability to erase is also why I'm sketching in the horns with white instead of black. Okay, so now as I mentioned, I'm just going to be going over, and this is the color green I'm using is a fairly lime type of green, and just go over that face, and as you can see, it's sort of turning into that light minty green. And these steps that I'm using are the same if you would want to like paint them with acrylic paint or something. So if you want to use this as a tutorial to paint Maleficent, it would work just fine. Okay, so now I'm just going to go through and I'm just going to place where her eyebrows should be and her eyes and her nose, and these lines can all be fixed later because we're going to be going through and giving her eyeshadow and such things, and so we can always touch them up if need be. And so the line for her nose extends right from her left eyebrow, at least in the photo I'm looking at. So just keep that in mind. And I'm also going to be adding her pupils at this point. And then I'm going to fill in her horns with black paint, but I'm going to leave that little line that I left in the middle. I'm just going to leave that there. That way, when I go over and add the lines in her horns with green, that one will just stick out just a little bit more. So just fill in those horns. And if a little bit of the white still sticks out just a little bit, that's not a huge deal because white's going to blend into your skin a little bit better. And it'll actually, if anything, just make her horns look a little bit brighter, stick out a little bit more. So that's not really a problem at all. And then at this point, I'm just going to continue taking that line all the way down around her chin, just so that her chin is outlined, and then up around the side of her face. Okay, so now, as I mentioned, we're giving her some eyeshadow. So not her eyelid actually, but the space between her eyelid and her eyebrow. I'm just going to be filling that in with purple. And then I'm going to fill in her eyes with yellow, and I'm going to be working around that pupil that I placed later. Or earlier, I mean, sorry. If you don't want to do that, you could add her pupils now instead. So now with red, I'm going to be painting her lips. And then I'm just going to make her eyelids a little bit brighter by adding another layer of the green I was using. So now, like, I know her eyebrows, when I was painting them, got a little bit covered up by the purple. If anything like that happens, your lines get covered up, this is a great time to go through and just fix those up. Or any lines that you decided at this point needed to be adjusted, go through and fix those now. Plus, I'm going to be outlining her lips. And now, as I said before, I'm going to be adding those green lines in her horn. So I'm going to start with that one in the middle and then start working my way around. Okay, so now I'm going to be adding just the top portion of her clothes. So I'm going to start with I don't really know what to call these, the two little triangles that come out from her overcoat, I guess. So just paint those off to the side, and you don't want them to touch each other because they're both black. They're just going to blend right together. So you're going to want to leave a thin layer of skin between them, and also between the first one and her face, just so that they show as being two separate things instead of just one shape. And then I'm going to add the collar of her coat or dress around that, and this is just going to be an outline because we'll be filling that in with purple. And then once you got that side, I'm going to go and I'm going to do the other side. So just finish up that and then start. And then that little triangle underneath her chin is also just filled in with black. And then the two little triangle pieces of clothing. Alright, so now as I said, we're going to be filling in that large area with purple, her collar. And I'm using the same purple as I used on her eyelids. And now I'm just going to be roughly painting in her shoulders. And then once I get those to where I think they are, I'm just going to blend that out with my finger. So I'm first just going to paint those in and fill in that area with black. And then once I get that all filled in and get a nice even line at the bottom, I'm going to dip my finger in water, and that's how I'm going to be blending it out. And you don't want your finger to be really wet, just a little bit of water, just so that it re-softens the paint and makes it blendable. So I'm just going to blend that out. And click here now if you'd like to see my Maleficent Nail Art tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like my design. Please comment with requests and subscribe. Also check me out on Facebook and Twitter. I will see you in my next video.